I guess towards the end of the presentation you will still have to come a little bit closer so that we don't have to shout, because I want to do some interactive part as well with you in the workshop. But maybe let me first of all share some of the experience that we have made developing a course catalog metadata format for MOOCs. And to be honest, when we started with the whole project, this was a huge unsuccess. So we had big ideas. That was in, I don't know, 2015 or so, 10 years ago, more than, even earlier. And we approached all of the big MOOC platforms and said, we have this super good format, and this is something that everybody should use. And guess what? Nobody ever replied. So nobody ever used the format. Basically, let me start with the idea. The idea is that we have several MOOC platforms. So this, for example, is a German MOOC platform. It's called the Virtual University of Applied Science of Bavaria. They have online courses. They also have other courses, but they have a platform and they have courses and they're offering them. This is another MOOC platform. It's from Austria. The national Austrian MOOC platform. Austria is a very small country, so they have, let's say, maybe 10, 15 universities, but they have their own MOOC platform. They're offering their courses on this platform. And then we have our platform, for example, German UDS, German University of Digital Science. We also have MOOCs. And there are many, many others, actually, who are already using this format. And when we started to work with that, the German UDS actually even didn't exist yet. So that was something that we started with my former employer, with the OpenHBI platform. And we did that together with this Austrian platform, together with this Bavarian platform, and with some other platforms. And basically, all of us had the same idea. We have this need that we actually have many platforms, and each of the platforms is offering courses, but the users, they don't want to go to this platform, to that platform, to that platform. They want to go to one platform, and they want to find all of the courses there. And actually, this is not what happened, because now we have those aggregators. And believe it or not, this is not one platform. This is one platform which is a big platform for open educational resources. This is run by two big German university libraries. So this is the University Library of the University of Hanover. This is one of the biggest university libraries in Germany. And the other one is a central university library for all of the universities in another federal state, North Rhine-Westphalia. They have many, many universities. They have a central library for all of them. They are running this system. This is yet another, this is then in Bavaria, one of the federal states of Germany. They is so far away, I can't hardly recognize it even with my glasses on. So they came up and said, we want to have a national platform. We want to have a platform for the whole country. And of course, we don't want to use this one, which is coming from these other federal states in Germany, because we have a central government in Germany, but education is an issue of all of the federal states. And they really don't like it if the central government is included. They really don't like it if they have to use things from other states. So everybody is cooking their own soup. So basically, they came up with this platform, and this is particularly targeting public or civil servants working for the government in Bavaria. So they offer open courses for this target group. And then we have, this is from yet another federal state in Germany, it's also a MOOC aggregator. So basically, and not only MOOCs, but they have all sorts of learning resources, MOOCs, many others. So we have another aggregator, and then we have yet another one. That was a project I don't know if it's failed yet, but might be failing. This is a project from the central government in Germany when they tried to do something towards education, and this often doesn't really work for the reasons I just mentioned, because the federal states don't keep your money, we don't want it, you don't tell us anything. So this is, I think I don't know if it's a very German problem, but it is a German problem. So, so we have, and then we have the MOOC Hub, and this is basically the platform for which we developed the whole thing, where we thought this will be the central point where you can find all of our courses, the one platform. So now what we have many MOOC platforms, and we have many aggregators where you can find all of the courses. I don't know if that is a real gain, but at least it's something. And it's not now like one-stop shop, but it's 5. So we have all those aggregators. And what we want to do is we want to have one central format, a data format, a metadata format for all of those platforms that they can use, and that is used for all of them and from all of them, so that we don't have to develop a new API for each of those aggregators, because this is also a lot of work for us. And when they come and tell us, we have this new platform, do you want to join? We have this format, and we now can say, yes, we want to join, but we have this format, and all of them are already using it. And that worked from the beginning when we had this first platform, the MOOC Hub, when the government of Bavaria came to us and said, won't you offer your courses on our platform? We said, yes, we have a format, you can use it. They said, well, yeah, okay. So many of them were actually happy that the format already existed. Many had developed their own format, and we had to say, yeah, but either you use ours or you don't get our courses. And in the end, they all said yes. And I think it's a very good thing to be proactive in that direction, so that you have a central format that everybody can use and that you can provide to everybody, and which is standardized. It's not like a real industry standard yet. It's more like a de facto standard, because in Germany, at least in parts of Europe, and we're trying at the moment to also expand with that format to all other European countries. So we are a member of the European MOOC Consortium, for example, and we want to basically in that group also establish the same format all over Europe. This is a project I think that will take a couple of years still. We are talking about this since a couple of years, but as so many different stakeholders are involved and everybody has their own interests and their own needs and their own things, this is always a very slow process, unfortunately. So what we need is the standardized API format. And basically the whole thing works that the aggregators send an HTTP REST API request. So basically it's a I don't know how familiar you are with web technologies. Basically, it's just a GET request. They say, we want to have all of your courses, but we only want to have the metadata of your courses, not everything. We just want to know when is it offered, by whom is it offered, what is the general idea of the course, and so on, the topic, and so on, so on, so on. So this is what we developed. You can find that format. It's open source. You can find it on GitHub, and everybody is free to use it. And whenever you have a course or a platform and you implement that for your platform, basically at some point you will have the strength to say, use our format, and then we will provide you our courses. And this is a very good position to be in, and I'm really happy that we came into that position in the time when we basically developed that more or less bottom up. So we did that with the Austrian MOOC platform together. The Austrian MOOC platform, and one other platform, we developed this format, and then we were in a very strong position actually to suggest this format to everybody else. And yeah, I wouldn't want to compare us with President Trump, but in a similar way, you know. If you are strong, you can basically say what needs to be done. So basically, the aggregators send the HTTP REST request to the platforms, and the platforms basically send back the data, the metadata in this standardized API form as an HTTP REST response. The format is itself, we did not completely invent that from scratch. So we tried to be as close as possible to other formats, to similar formats, so that we are compatible with them. So in the very basis for the whole format is schema.org. That is a format that was developed several years ago by Google, Microsoft, Yahoo, and a couple of other big players in the internet, and they wanted to have this general metadata format, not only for MOOC courses, but for basically everything. And this is the very basis that we're using, and we're building on top of that. And that makes it easier because many others are using the same basis as well, and also are building on top of that, and that makes it easier to be compatible to each other. So we basically created the MOOC Hub format. Here you can see in the middle that is the link to the GitHub repository, so you can download it from there. You don't have to type it now. If you're interested, just send me a message and I will send you the link directly. That's easy. And then on the right, you see this is another example. This is the format that the first platform that I showed, this platform from the university libraries. They had a very similar format already, which they were using. And when they approached us that they wanted to offer our courses, we could tell them, yeah, we have this format. They say, oh yeah, we have that format. And actually they are super close to each other. So they're almost very similar. So in the end, they implemented our format, and in exchange for that, we basically gave them or discussed with them and got together, and basically we made our formats really compatible, so that there were as least differences as possible. So we tried to adjust two things, and now they are very close to each other. They are still a little bit different because they have a different purpose, a different target group, a different, try to deliver something different, but they are very, very similar. So schema.org was the basis, and these others are, these two are really closely related to each other and can be almost exchanged, almost. So basically, this is really, really small. I'm apologizing for that. Basically, what we now did was that we also implemented this format because we switched from our own MOOC platform to the Open edX platform, and we now implemented for the German UDS, we implemented this format within the Open edX platform. It's, I would say, a work in progress still, so it's not completely finished. There are many things. It's usable, you can do it, you can work with it, but there are many things that can be improved, definitely. And basically what it does, on the right you see, at least maybe you can guess what it should show. You see the I can go into that in a minute in the original website, and we can maybe increase the size a little bit so that I can show you better. This is the actual output of the format. So if you have, there is a special URL that you can call on our platform, and that will output this metadata format. And it's open, available for everybody. So whoever wants to list our courses on their aggregator, they just need to direct their request to this platform, to this page, and they get all of our courses, and they can list them on their platform. And we went for this very open approach because we thought the more our courses are listed anywhere, the better, because we want to have as much users as possible. And what can possibly go wrong. We'll see about that, but I guess this is a very good approach in any way. If you're talking about MOOCs and if you're talking about open courses, you want to have as many users as possible, and that is a good way to get it as distributed as possible. And if you have a central platform, even better. If others are also listing your courses, there's no harm in that. It's a good thing. So the data for this currently comes from different sources. A couple of sources are basically the data that is already there anyway in Open edX. It's the date when the course will start, the course description, the teacher to some extent, and a couple of other, like all of this data that you already have, the metadata that you already have in your courses when you create the courses. And I guess it really doesn't matter which platform it is that you're using, because the platforms you saw in the first place, one of them is Moodle, one of them is Open edX, the other was a completely different format, self-developed proprietary format, and so on. So there is no limit in that. In the end, you just need to provide the data, and you always have something like a course description, like a start date and whatever, and you just need to bring it in the same metadata format. That's all. And then, and this is basically the plugin that we developed for this for this tool. This is a very no, not yet. This is also still some actual data that comes from the Open edX, the core Open edX thing, and this is, for example, the pricing and the course, the model of the courses. So in our case, we have courses which are for free, and we also have courses which are offered as micro degrees, which are not for free. So you can, and this is a core feature of Open edX, that you can say this is the course category is free course or paid course or whatever. They have a couple of different categories there. So basically this is the regular Open edX course data, and that goes directly into this metadata format and into this JSON format. And then, and this is the additional plugin, and you can see it really looks almost the same as the other one, that's why I got mixed up. This is just a little bit of extra data that we are creating and that we have to create when we create a course. And that is basically mostly the teacher information, because the teacher information in Open edX is not a separate unit. It's basically a piece of HTML which is a part of the course description. In other platforms, that already might be a separate machine-readable unit. In Open edX, it's unfortunately not, so we have to add that here. And then you see at the bottom there are many fields which actually, this is a couple of licensing things, so you have to, if you aggregate courses in a central system, you have to take care of the licensing of the images, for example, of the course images. Some platforms are using stock images, for example, so they have paid for that. That means that the aggregator not necessarily will be able to do that because they did not pay for that. So in that case, we can say the license of this course image is an open license. It's a CC BY license or something like that, or it's a proprietary license and you cannot use it. So we provide you with one image for the platform instead. So basically the logo or something like that, and all of the courses will be listed with that, or all of the courses that are not using a freely licensed image, for example. So there's a lot of effort that went into that, particularly with all the licensing stuff, because that, at least in Germany, is a big thing, because there's lots of lawyers who basically are just waiting, browsing the internet. Probably they're using AI now, and waiting for someone who's using an image in the wrong way, and then you get sued, and then you can pay a lot of money. And of course, you don't want to do that. And the other thing that is added there as additional data, this is something like educational alignment, keywords, and course topics and course level as well. And I will come to that in a second in a bit more detail. So the challenge particularly with those things is you cannot really see it right now, but actually in those boxes what you see is the data is not there, it's empty. And the problem is there is this input field where you could add the data, but as so often nobody does it. And so what we've been thinking is, and this is basically where the data should be, but you would need to do that at the moment, you would need to do that manually. So what we've been thinking is we need to find a solution that automates that. And AI basically is a perfect approach for that. You have all this information in your courses, actually. In the course description, you can say where in the course description it says it's a course about computer science, then it probably will be in the area of computer science. It's a course about whatever other, and then it will be in that area. It will be a course on this and this level. This is probably also already hidden in the description in some, or maybe it's even already there in the anyway, because you have to specify that in some way when it's part of a program actually. And so we have created this. Actually, a PhD student of ours has created this metadata generator. It's not very nice at the moment, so it's a very early prototype. But basically, it gives you a couple of input fields where you can put in the course description. This is something that you already have, and then you just specify which frameworks you want to use to do the educational alignment. There's a couple of frameworks available currently. I think we are supporting ISCET-F, that is a framework by the UNESCO for course topics. We are supporting ESCO. I will come to that in a minute. I have them on the slide. So basically what we want to do is we want to populate this content automatically by using this tool, and then don't have to do that manually for each course. This is because this is really a tedious job that nobody wants to do, and actually nobody does it. So, and this is not a new problem. I've been working on a similar thing 20 years ago with SCORM packages, and if you know SCORM packages, most of them are empty. Yeah, basically this is the prototype and this is the thing. So we're using a couple of vocabularies there. They are also available online. This is this SCOHub. This is coming from this other format, this AMB format. So this is one of the basics here. We have documentation for that API. It's available online. I don't know if that one is actually open, but if you need access to that, I can make that available for you. And then, of course, we have the sources on GitHub where you can find that. So both the metadata generator and the API format are available on GitHub, and you can basically freely download them. You just need to drop me a message that I can provide you with the URLs. I tried to summarize that. I can also give you the slides in the end if you're interested, so that you can see anything, because this is really way too far away. So this is basically just the whole picture with all of those different frameworks that I already mentioned and all of the different platforms that are using the thing, and a couple of links to publications that we have which are out there, which are describing the idea and the approach to go for that. I will come to that in a second. So these are the formats that we're using for the educational alignment. I already started to talk about it. So it's ISCET-F. That's the format from the UNESCO. It's ÖFOS. That's a format which is based on FOS. FOS is a format by the OECD, and ÖFOS is the Austrian version of that format, and that was a requirement from one of our partners from the Austrian platform that they wanted to have that within the format. We're using DIGCOMP. That's a European format for digital competencies. It's a framework that you can use, and we're also using ESCO. ESCO is also a European format. And for educational level, we are also are using DIGCOMP. They have this I think it's 8 levels that they have, and basically 1 and 2 is vocational training or school, and 8 is basically PhD studies, and then 6 and 7 are master studies and bachelors and so on from that downwards. And then we also have a very simple form. This is actually not a framework. This is just a very basic form that you can have for education level. That's a sort of beginner, advanced, and expert. It's a free form. And then for the keywords, they are just free selectable. And so the idea in the end is that we want to be able to also create learning paths for the learners. And with all this data that we have in those educational levels and in those fields of expertise and so on, we actually at some point will be able to do that. So when I say I'm a software developer now and I want to be a data analyst, or I'm a car mechanic and I want to be a car mechatronic, or I'm a baker and I want to become a cook, then you could say, how do I get there? How do I get from this one place to the other? And then you could say, well, yeah, with that information and all of the information that we have in the central repository of courses, in this central one-stop shop, you could say, yeah, take module 1 from University X, that will happen at that and that point of time, and then you could go to module 2 from University Y, and I just have listed universities here, but that could be anything. Doesn't even have to be a university or a course. Also can be a unit or an exercise or whatever. So, and then at some point you will be there step by step, and basically with a proper trained AI, you can build on this meta information that you have in there, and you can create such a learning path for each learner and for each start point and end point. We have, with the European MOOC consortium, we currently have a proposal out for the European Commission that we want to get funding in the end, basically exactly to do that, and also to there's a third part which is included here, and that is to include the requirements of the labor market. So I can say, yeah, I'm a software developer and I want to be a data analyst, but what does the labor market actually say? Does the labor market say we need data analysts, or does the labor market say, well, data analysts, that is a thing of yesterday because this is something that AI is doing now. Might be better you want to be a baker or whatever. So basically this is something what we try to include now, and what we want to do. We'll see if the EU will fund that. So that's an open decision yet. We can take the whole step or the whole thing one step further once we have this. Once we have this information about the educational level and the educational alignment and the topics and so on, we can also think about digital credentials for that course, for the people who basically did those. And we've been working a couple of years ago already in 2 projects. That was still with my former employer, with the Hasse-Plattner Institute. On the DBHO, that was digital education for higher education, or digital credentials for higher education, and the DCC, that was a bigger international consortium, including MIT and TU Delft and a couple of other universities. And we've been working with a couple of projects that we've been involved in on that topic. And the idea here is basically to use an existing European framework that is it used to be called the Europass format, and so this is infrastructure from the European Union. It's already there, but nobody really is using it at the moment. And so basically what we want to do is we want to use that infrastructure and we want to enhance our certificates, our micro degrees, with this certification by the European Union. So it's sealed, it's validated, it's verified, and basically in the end it's just some XML format that they have, but it's safe. So nobody can tackle with it, or nobody can change it, because otherwise it will fail the verification process. So that's the future that we're working to. And if you're interested, I would like to go with you through a couple of questions now. So we are always, of course, interested in evaluating that data, and I hope that the QR code works. You should be able to access this tool and maybe enter some course description that you have in mind, in a course title or so, and then try to, and the formats that you would like to create it, so if you want to have ISCIT-F or whatever, and then basically can try if that brings some proper outcome. And we're always interested in feedback, so if you want to try and to work with that also later on maybe, and have some feedback for us how it's working and if it actually is producing the results that you would be expecting, that would be very great to have. And what my question here, particularly in this context, would be is we are currently focusing strongly on these European formats, and I guess, I don't know, maybe that's completely uninteresting for you because you're using completely different formats. I don't know that. We have so far always developed that with a very European point of view and with a very European focus. So if you have other formats, other of those frameworks that you would suggest that we include, we are also very happy about this information, so that you that we can add them and can provide information for them. The whole API format actually is very open. So in the end, we can plug in every of those frameworks. We can, and also multiple of those frameworks. So we're not saying you have to use either ISCIT-F or ESCO or that or that. You can have all of them. Then it's only a question of the aggregator in the end, if the aggregator also is able to read that and to work with that formats. Yes, that's basically it. And if you have basically open available, already available open catalogs that are machine readable, that you would want us to integrate there in some way, we can discuss that, of course, as well. And basically, with that, I'm at the end of the presentation. Maybe let me see. I have a couple of those things also here. Maybe we can get it a little bit bigger. So this is a couple of those frameworks. This is the MOOC Hub. Sorry for that, it's only in German. What you can do is, for example, you can choose the platform here. So these are the different platforms, and you can say, I only want to take courses from, I don't know, let's take the German UDS. And then you see, we only are using our logo here because the images that we are using are not all licensed. Or they are licensed, and we can use them, but they can't. So, and you also can see no, you can't see that. For example, the course in the middle, you can see the course in the middle is under a CC BY license. The other courses are open, everybody can use them, but they are not under CC license, so they are not modifiable. So the course in the middle, that was a result of a European research project. Basically, they put that under this license, and you can have that with many different licenses, and you can choose them. So this is one thing, and basically this works the same for Findig, this works the same for this OERSI platform. OERSI has only, for example, they are only listing, and this is also a thing that that's a joint decision from the MOOC platform and the metadata aggregator, which courses or which parts are listed where. So we, as a university, we give out all the metadata for all of our courses. If they're paid, if they're free, if they're open educational resources, if they're just proprietary content but free to watch. It doesn't matter for us, we give out all of them. So the metadata API contains all of them. The MOOC Hub, for example, has decided that they are only listing courses which are available for free. They are not listing paid courses. So they basically have a filter and they say, we don't want the paid courses. They list everything. They only list courses which are under open educational resource license, so they have to be under some sort of CC license or whatever. This is the page from the Bavarian government. So same. So basically, it's all of them, and all of them are using this this metadata format. And yeah, that's basically that. And so here's some links. I have them all in the presentation. So just let me know in the slide. So this is this ISGET-F format, the description for that. This is the ÖFOS format and DIGCOMP and so on. So there's a lot of information on those formats also available online. And there's actually, when we started with that, we were looking for a standard that we can use. And if you start looking for a standard, you basically find hundreds of standards that are out there, and everybody, UNESCO has a standard, EU has a standard, OECD has a standard, German government has a standard for subjects basically, and so on. Every government has a standard for subjects, and most of them are similar. I mean, the subjects are the same all over the world. So, but they are ordered in different forms and organized in different forms, and that makes it a little bit, let's say, uncomfortable. So it's not always really simple and straightforward. And so that, yeah, basically one more. And this actually is this metadata generator. As I said, the UI is very simple right now. So this is really an early prototype. And what you can see, what I have done is I uploaded one of our metadata files that is exported by the platform already, and I read that in. So you can basically just choose a metadata file that follows the format, and then it will already be filled in with all of the information that is already in there. And then you can, but yeah, you see here, this is the publisher, so this is German University of Digital Sciences, the publisher. There is some description about the publisher. Then it's the creator of the course, in that case that's me. There is a description about me. And then you can, down here you can start and choose those formats, and at the moment this supports ISGET-F and ÖFOS for the educational alignment. And then based on the data above, you just say get a suggestion, and then it will suggest a certain topic and so on. So that is basically fully automated and using AI to produce these outcomes, and then you get that in the actual format that this framework requests or requires. And often this is quite cryptic stuff with lots of numbers. Maybe you're familiar with the ACM digital library format. This is also kind of like just this collection of numbers that says something to the machine, but not very much to a human who's reading it. So, so this is the basic idea, and so that's the actual outcome then. So it's a JSON format. It has all this information in with the name and where you find it, where on which concepts it's the format is built on, and the course description, and so on and so on and so on. So this is the file that I uploaded there, and in real life it looks like this. So this is basically the output that we have from on our platform, and you see it's paginated. So if you have more than, I don't know, 50 courses or so, it will go to the next page and to the next page and to the next page. It also has some internal versioning in it. So whenever we are changing the format, sometimes that happens because all of the members of the MOOC Hub, for example, agree that we need to change something. Or when we aligned it with this AMB format, we had to do some changes. So we then can say we do all the changes, and at a certain point of time, everybody has to apply them. And until then, you can either work with the old version, which is still there, or basically will not be listed anymore. Yeah, and this is maybe a little bit, let's put that a little bit bigger. So this is the interface that we have in the OpenEdX. OpenEdX has a lot of interfaces which are basically not real interfaces on top of the basic Django admin. So many of the like more detailed stuff you actually do in there, and so also for this plugin, this is how it currently is used. I think that can be better, and particularly once we have integrated this metadata generator, we actually don't need it anymore, because then that will be fully automated, and you can, in the metadata generator, also fix what needs to be done and what needs to be, I mean, AI is not, makes mistakes, no? So will not always provide the correct or the best result, so you can do some manual fixing, and then it will be available for the, and yeah, we already had that one. So this is how it looks before you enter this data. And so if you want, we could try something. We could try and fill it with some data and see if the outcomes are proper. So. So do you have any questions, or I don't have to say much more, so we can either go into a discussion or try it out. Feel free to use it. Feel free to try it out, and if there is anything that startles you, let me know, and we can try to address that. Do you have any questions or ideas or? Mm-hmm. Yeah, maybe just let's take, I don't want to put too much in there, so yeah. So that would be a description from a course. I'll take that, and then let's add that in here. I don't know if it works with the HTML. This is something I haven't tried yet so far. The course is called, do I have to, guess I have to do that. Design Thinking, a very creative name for Design Thinking course. So, and then we need the URL of the course. It should. That was the URL of the course image, I think. So this, no, that's this is JSON. JSON is basically a data format similar to XML, but simpler. There used to be a huge discussion, what is more human readable, XML or JSON? And then let's say starts in July and it ends in September, and this is a proprietary license, and the publisher is, yes, we don't enter description here, maybe it was, I think, one of my colleagues, Stephen Ney, and then we try to get a suggestion for I guess this is what the outcome is, and basically you see there is a, so it selects. So as I said, the user interface is not really good yet, but you also could do the selection manually then. So if the you see where you have, I don't know, AI tried, but it wasn't that good, then you could go in there and you could say design thinking, yeah. Yeah. You're welcome. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Yeah. So at the moment we actually are using the ISCID-F standard. That is a standard by the UNESCO, and it's also used by the European Union. And then this is ÖFOS. This is an Austrian implementation of the FOS standard, and FOS is by the OECD. We use this because that was a requirement from one of our partners, because they had to use that because they were required by their government to use this standard. So this is why it's in there. But as we said, this is completely open. You can we can add any of those standards. The problem is some of them are, and this is also the reason why we have included, for example, ISCID-F, they are available in a machine-readable format. So it's easy to integrate them. Others are available as a huge PDF document or Word document with lots of descriptions and basically no machine-readable format. So it's a lot harder to integrate them, or it would be necessary maybe also to use some sort of AI to run through the standard and extract the actual information that you need. So, but at the moment, the two things that we are supporting is ISCID-F and ÖFOS for the educational alignment. It's ESCO and DICCOMP for the competencies and skills, and it's DICCOMP and the simple format for the educational level. So you can see if you go for DICCOMP, you can select this. Just they have these levels from 1 to 8, and if you would go for simple, that would be just beginner, advanced, expert. So yeah, that is also, I don't know why that not works. Maybe it's also the internet connection that it just is taking a bit long. No, here you see. Now it actually has added a couple of keywords. It just took a minute. And well, yeah, that is actually not that bad yet for the keywords: innovation, teamwork, problem solving, project challenges, micro degree, design thinking. Keywords, I would say, I would add one or two, but so these are a couple of results that you can work with, and you can have a good start.
Thank you.
Maybe try with the microphone. I didn't. It's the room
I
is really
wonder
too loud.
about the certificate issue when you like aggregate the metadata, and then the certificate will generate from the service, the initial service provider or not.
Yes. So the metadata basically is just aggregating the course metadata, and it's basically just to have the catalog in a central place. The certificates are not generated by the central unit. They are as well as the courses itself. So the courses itself, they are always on the platform where they have been created. So it's really on the course catalog. This is always a link which links back to the original course, to the original platform, university, whoever is publishing that, and the certificates are always also created by this platform. There's one example, exception for that, and that one is not working. So this is this one platform which was designed. It was a huge research project over 5 years, and it never got anywhere. So far, it's still not working. Everything else, even the thing that we built without any money, this is working. But this big government project, they put so many requirements on top and on top and on top, and it got more and more complicated, so it actually is not working yet. And I don't know, I think they at some point also cut the funding, and so it's a grave for millions of euros. But everybody learned a lot. So I mean, that's also a good thing. I don't want to make that smaller than it is. But I think it could have been a way better project if they wouldn't have added more and more requirements on top. And in the end, it was completely unusable. For example, they wanted to have the certificates on the central platform, and everybody could go there and download it. That was the first thing that made it really complicated. Why? There's no reason for that, no really reason. And then they wanted to have that the login process is and the single sign-on, so they wanted to have single sign-on for all of those different providers, and that was work. I mean, we had a working version for that years before the project ended, and then they came with a new requirement that it had to be working with some sort of app on a phone, and that was super private and very and it was completely unusable, because no user would ever do that, and no user would say, I need this kind of privacy in this data. I'm a strong fan of privacy, with particularly with educational data. You can do a lot of things with that you shouldn't be able to do, but what they did in the end basically made it completely unusable. And if you put too much restrictions on something, there's always a trade-off between security and usability. But at some point, it's not usable anymore, and at some point, it doesn't work anymore. So I don't know if they get the next funding round to get that figured out. Yeah, you had a question? Yeah.
Okay, so I think we are in Thailand. We are also like to do something the same. I mean, the aggregation of MOOC costs, and then we facing the same problems. So maybe we can get some idea from what you are doing, and also we are also using the open index. So I would like to ask if the standard that you are developing for use in Germany is also used in the EU as well. I understand that in France, for example, they have Fund MOOC, right, which also they kind of aggregate the costs as well. So is this standard compatible in EU, or and compared to the, I'm not sure if in the other countries they also have some kind of the same problem as well. I think, for example, in Japan, and in Japan, I think they are aligned mostly with the one EdTech standard. So compare with what the one EdTech have for a metadata for courses and this one that you are using. So maybe you have any, I mean, some idea or some suggestion that you could make for maybe for Thailand, what should we follow, or maybe what should we do in order to solve the same problem as you. And the second question is that you mentioned about the single sign-on before. So maybe if you would like to, I would like to have some of your experience on how to get it work. So you have so many providers, right? And if you have to do some, as a student, I want to have a single account and then I can log into any of the providers. That is for sure. Then how you solve that problem, because we're starting to have that in Thailand as well. Thank you.
Okay, so as for the format, I know a couple of the one EdTech formats. I don't really know the something that they have which is similar to the course catalog format. I really don't know. I mean, I know this one roster. I know the X API. I'm working a lot with LTI and all of those things. I don't know if there is something which is comparable to this one. There might be. I just don't know it. And that, of course, I don't know the differences. About the US, I know basically two platforms in the US, aggregators, the big ones, Class Central and MOOC List, for example. There's a couple of others. They are not using that, so they have a very simple format, I think, and this doesn't cover all of the needs. So this is something that they developed 10 years ago, 15 years ago, 13 years ago, 2012, around that time. We have that format as well because we also want to be listed, of course, on Class Central. I know Dhaval Shah, but I haven't convinced him yet, so I didn't try yet, to be honest. But I would be happy to convince him that he also uses this the standard, because it just covers much more. It's also more complicated. It's a little bit more, but you can do much more with it. If you really just want to list the courses and the start and the end dates, you can go for this really simple format that Class Central is using. But then you cannot go for the whole. You don't have the whole information. You don't have this educational alignment, all that stuff, for example. FUNMOOC, FUNMOOC is a partner of the European MOOC Consortium as well, and we are in discussions with them. They currently are also not using it. This is part of this European project that I've been talking about. We hope that we get the funding from the EU, and then we hope that we can basically convince all of the partners that we will be using this format. And I'm pretty positive that once the funding is there, we will be able to do that. It's not always, particularly with the bigger providers, it's not always in their interest to be in such a one-stop shop, because they often fear that they will be using their users to the others. So for the smaller providers like us or like all of the others there, to come together, we all have the same size more or less. We are not afraid of losing users because we all are growing and everybody, and we can only win from collaborating. In my opinion, it's the same for the big providers. but they don't always see it the way that I do, and that might be in my mistake or theirs, and the future will tell who's right and who's wrong. I think it would be a good thing to do, and I mean we are also FutureLearn, for example. This is the biggest platform in this European MOOC consortium. With the Brexit, we have a bit of a problem with, we don't have a problem with them, but it's kind of a political issue because they don't get any EU funding, for example, anymore, because they left the EU, so they only can be associated partners and they cannot be full partners. So it became much more difficult to work with them as it was until they left the EU. I don't remember when that was, it's a couple of years ago. And with the single sign-on, we've mostly been working with the SAML format. That is one. I mean, there's a couple of formats. So we have this. You have this OAuth2 or open. I forgot open something. And SAML format for us, the SAML format always worked quite well. So it's one of the standards for single sign-on things that really you have to dig a bit into it. I'm not an expert in that, so I'm sorry if I can't go into more detail. I would need to ask one of my colleagues. But once you have that and once you understood how it works, it's really simple and easy to work with it. That's how I experienced it. So, yeah.
Yes, from the technical side, I think that it is not a big problem for the single sign-on to work, but then from the non-technical side, so I mean, how do you manage the user from the other platform, or how do you manage the cooperation between the platform, because the user have to, I mean, sign on between platform, and then I'm not sure if there is something in EU, just like maybe in Wi-Fi network we have eDuRoam or something, when we can use a single account that can log into anyone. But then on the MOOC, if for example in Thailand, if we have to do something like that, we have to specify you are going to log in with CU MOOC account, you are going to log in with this account, or something like that, and then you get a lot of button, and in the login form that is not working very well. So maybe I'm not sure if there is a solution in Germany or in EU that solve this kind of problem.
Unfortunately, no. No, I know exactly this problem. We had that. We had that on the OpenHBI platform when we basically wanted to allow all of those Google and Facebook and whatever and so and so. And then you have the problem if the user already has an account, and then basically they come with another account, and then suddenly you have two accounts, but you also cannot just merge them, because in Germany many people are called Karl Müller, for example, and you don't even know if it's the same person or if it's not the same person. They just have the same name, and so it became really, really complicated, and in the end we decided to actually just not allow it, even if it's bad, because the users are wanting that and the users are expecting that they know that from all of these other places. But particularly if the system is running for quite a while and you have many users that already have an account, then I think it becomes really complicated. And for this national platform that I mentioned, the one that still is basically not really working, single sign-on was one of the things that they wanted to have, and we implemented that, so it works. With all the platforms you can come in with all the different accounts, but it also only works properly if you don't have already an account of all of these sub-platforms, because then you get this clashes again, and you don't know what's going to happen, how to solve that, and there needs to be a proper policy for that, and this is not really simple. So there's no wonder no wonder weapon for that. No, we don't have that. Sorry. Oh, thank you. Yeah.
Okay, then thank you so much for Professor Thomas to give very insightful information about your work. Then I think
Thank you.
a lot of people here, then they want to know more, but because we still have another session, then maybe after that,
Yeah.
maybe some people might be asked you later. Okay, thank you.
Thank you. Thank you so much. Thank you.